Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for One Piece chapter 1048. When we last left our heroes, Onigashima was really starting to wrap up. Momo was still struggling to create the flame clouds to pull Onigashima, which is a problem because that Luffy-Kaido fight is getting closer and closer to its ending. Meanwhile, down below, the samurai are starting to realize that, Luffy might just win this thing, but if he does, there's nothing holding up Onigashima, and so they'll die. And they're okay with that. They are willing to accept their deaths if that means salvation for the people of Wano. The Beast Pirates, not quite so happy with this arrangement, but no one really cares about them right now. Also, as the island is coming apart, the sea stone nail that's binding Orochi's powers comes loose, and he turns into his dragon form, and even if he's gonna die anyway, he wants to take Hiyori out with him. We'll see what comes of that, though. But back on the rooftop, Luffy is ready for what he says will be one final fight, or one final punch on Kaido. But in order to do that, he needs Momo to get the island out of the way, which Momo can't do yet, which is a problem. So yeah, this chapter might be the end of Wano. Or the end of Kaido. There's still, an epilogue to Wano, and the Marines are still outside. But the chapter title being 20 years, referring to the 20 years of Kaido's rule, kind of implies this might be the end. Before that, we have our cover story, which, as we had last left off, had involved two mysterious people arriving in Totoland. And it seems to be that Creme Brulee thinks that's Reiju and whichever brother isn't there. Though there's been some theories of, is that the Blackbeard pirates? But we'll see in another chapter, I predict. Germa 66's an Emotionless Excursion, Volume 10. I think Germa's come to Chocolat Town. So yeah, that's what's going on there as that storyline is progressing. But we pick up right where we left off, with Luffy with his giant hockey-coated fist, which I actually should have brought up last time. There's a lot of discussion with Kaido about hockey being the ultimate power on the sea, which doesn't seem to be really going anywhere if this is the end of Kaido. But I don't know. It's a weird thing. Either way, Momo reacts, "Move Onigashima out of the way? Wait, Luffy, I can't! And then he flashes back to Toki, right before he and Kinemon went to the future. When you reach the future, you must rebuild the Kozuki clan. And just in frustration, he just headbutts the island. And Luffy and Kaido are still staring each other down. And Kaido tells him, "Very well then, I will take your punch." Okay, so Kaido is so confident that he's going to take the punch. Maybe this is somehow tied up in the fate of Onigashima? I don't know. Tell me, Straw Hat, did you know, and that gets Luffy's attention for a minute, that 20 years ago, the hero of this country was burned to death, and he readies some flames to throw it at Luffy. Flame Dragon Torch! Ever since, this has been a lawless place, and now you are the heroes they've been waiting 20 years for. So he seemingly doesn't throw that at Luffy, the flames. It seems like he, takes the flames into himself or something. And Luffy, I guess, was Luffy holding on to him with his other hand last time we left them? He might have been. Yeah, he is in that first panel. It's been a while. And with the flames inside Kaido, he's too hot for Luffy to hold on to. Yow! That's right. Let go of me. I'm not going anywhere. And that giant fist of yours will not come down on me. And I guess we see the flames get more intense around Kaido. It will melt into nothing first. Okay, so it's sort of a bit of a gamble Kaido's taking here. That his flames are hot enough to melt Luffy before he can get hit or something. But Luffy doesn't really care. I'm not melting! Gum gum! But Kaido cuts him off. Rising Dragon! And then Luffy flashes back to his training with Hyogoro, back in the prison camp. What you call hockey is known as Ryuo here in Wano. We're going all the way back to that for how Luffy might win this fight. The old man taught me how to do that without touching. I'll smash you all the way down to the bottom of hell. Bajrang? Is that the attack? Bajrang gun? I'm not sure what Bajrang is supposed to mean. Bajrang gun does come up on Wikipedia, or on Google. It's some kind of gun. It's a real gun. Either way, I'm not sure what the Bajrang gun has to do with not touching or something. But Kaido takes his flame Bagua a bit more personally than he normally does. Not with his club, but the flame Bagua is Kaido himself ramming into Luffy's fist. And we see that force. Luffy tries to push into Kaido, and Kaido tries to hold him off with just the sheer heat of Kaido's flames. And then we come back down to Usopp and Hamlet, who have been washed out from Raizo's water, but Usopp has dropped Kinemon and Kiku. Sorry, Kin, Kiku, I didn't mean to drop you. You're still breathing, right? You better not be dead. But the samurai are still, not really fearing their own death. You can do it, Straw Hat Fellow! Strike down Kaido for us! Until he's gone! And we see Kawamatsu just sort of breathing heavy as the people go on. None of this is truly over! And we cut to a flashback, right, of Odin still in the pot. Lord Odin, the vassals have escaped. Capture every last one of them. The vassals are the ones crying, Lord Odin! Still just running, still cuffed, holding on for dear life. Don't turn back! Lord Odin! And they just keep on running, tears in their eyes, as the gunshot rings out. And Orochi calls, there's only one place those samurai could be going. It's Kuri. They've gone to protect Momonosuke, his heir. And it's been a while since I read this flashback, but this seems to be the first time Kaido's learning of this. He has a son. I'll go take care of that. We see Kaido attacking Kozuki Castle. Please, no more! Leave the Kozuki clan alone! And Kaido just whacks them with his club. Move! And Orochi cheers, and you dare to defy the Shogun. Maybe shot on sight. And the Beast Pirates keep on shooting the subordinates in the castle. What about Odin's wife? She was confirmed dead in Bakura Town. No one else escaped from Odin Castle. The Kozuki clan has been thoroughly wiped out. Okay, that's they seem to I'm curious though. They clearly believed that at the time. But why did they think Hiyori was dead? It's been a while, but why, what did they see that convinced them that Hiyori was dead? Because she wasn't, obviously. Maybe they just never, if Kaido didn't know that Odin had a son until right before, the attack on the castle, maybe he just never knew about Hiyori? I don't know. But we see it sometime later as Orochi is sort of consolidating his control of Wano. Now choose, Daimyo. And I think this is Kaido now. Will you join us in making our Wano great? Or is it war? And the Daimyo, all four of them, draw their blades. If you already know the answer, then it's a stupid question. Our only shogun is Kozuki. Avenge Odin's death. And Kaido's in his full dragon form. They're making their desperate last stand against Kaido. And Kaido just uses blast breath to sweep through them. Orochi cackles. Goo ha 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 ha. Wah ha ha ha. You're all so weak. Does the word samurai mean nothing anymore? And, Odin's just having a field day here. Curses. If he didn't have Kaido backing him up, that fool of a lord would be nothing. And his friend, it's two samurai here. One is holding his friend's, I guess, near dead body, and the near dead one says, pipe down. Orochi can hear a pin drop. Kaido's army will come after us. And then we see them, this whole flashback sort of sets up the idea that this is the end. We're seeing all of the hardships that Orochi and Kaido brought to Wano before Luffy saves them, before Luffy wins. Bring me every young man of working age. And we see they're working to build those weapons that started this whole arc. Pick up weapons, let's fight back! But they're fighting back and it's not going very well. Wait, don't take him away! Daddy! Don't talk back! And then we see the water getting more and more polluted. What happened to the color of the river? There's no water to drink! And the crops are dying. The crops can't grow. We have nothing to eat. And we see like a woman and her child in this like barren wasteland that once was Wano. Down to like there's like a noose on a tree, just like really set the scene here. And then we see the Beast Pirates at the one prison camp that we saw at the beginning of the arc, whose name I'm forgetting. For some reason, my instinct is telling me it's Odin Prison Camp, and it's definitely not that. If you want to live to see tomorrow, then get to work. Work, you miserable trash. No one's coming to help. This nation is closed off. And we have the image of the factories and the news. We get a special focus on the news, which feels very thematically significant. But as the servants whisper to each other, don't rush. Be patient. It's a long, long winter ahead. Trust in Lady Toki's words. And Orochi... Oh, it's the first time the smile fruit came into play. First time the peasants, like, desperately ate those defective smiles. Look at those greedy beggars, Kaido. They actually gobbled up the leftover scraps of smile fruit. Goo-ha-ha! And we see the townspeople have to laugh because that's all they're capable of doing. That's right. Learn from Ebisu Town. You might be hungry. Your family might be dead. But you can still laugh and lead a bright, cheery life. And we see this, like, crying boy affected by the smile fruit. As we move back to the present in Orochi's thoughts, it's just what you writhing, crawling maggots deserve. Goo-ha-ha-ha-ha. And then we cut back to the present day Orochi, still on fire, still dying. Damn it all. Komurasaki. I'll drag you down with me. He's still, like, looming over Hiyori. Never count out the wrath of Kurosumi. We can share a drink again when we meet in the afterlife. Wah-ya-ya-ya-ya! And then someone draws a blade. It might be Hiyori. I've heard, and it might be Zoro if he's somehow conscious now. I heard people saying, like, it should be Denjiro who comes in to save her after everything. Bedlam has arrived. And Orochi is shocked to see the new arrival. And it is Denjiro, who at long last cuts the final head of Orochi. And we cut down to the Fire Festival. As we focus on one of the sky lanterns that says, I wish Orochi would go away. So I think he is truly, finally dead this time. A suitably pathetic end for the most pathetic of men. And then we see, his head falls. Hiyori just stands there in shock. As we come back to the people, we see some more of those boats, focusing on, please free us from this hell. But there's also, I want clean water again, I wish daddy something about food. And then we come back to the rooftop, as Luffy is still struggling to make that final hit connect. To be continued. Okay, so I thought we'd actually be at the end here. But no, this is the end for Orochi. This is the end for Orochi, which does make that title fit. The 20 years of Orochi rule is over. With what is at last his true and final death. Even if, like, from a logical standpoint, from an in-universe standpoint, there isn't a whole lot that makes this death different than the half dozen other deaths Orochi has had. From a thematic standpoint, from a storytelling standpoint, this is his end. This is how he goes. The way it's paired up with all these memories of Wano's misery, the way it's paired with the skyboats. It's it's a fittingly pathetic end for Orochi. Orochi fucking sucked. And his death is not glorious, it's not cool, it's just sort of pathetic. Which is all that he deserved. I mean that, I don't mean that as a bit of an insult at Oda. I mean that in the highest compliments. Orochi deserved far less than this. And it's all that he got. But that being said, the fight is not over. Kaido is still standing. And Momo still has to get those flame clouds to work before Luffy gets that final punch in. But yeah, that's sort of my one issue here is there's not a whole lot to say on the Luffy front. Because, this really felt like it would be the climax of the Luffy thing. The Luffy-Kaido fight. And, nothing actually happened. The punch is getting closer. I just, in my anime watch, I just got to the climax of Alabasta. And even in the manga, the climax of Alabasta kind of strains belief with, the 10-minute countdown that lasts a dozen chapters. But seeing 10 minutes stretched out over 6 episodes really brought that out, how ridiculous that is. And this, this is nowhere near the sort of thing with the countdown clock in Alabasta. But it's sort of that same, like it's actually a weird, like, they're sort of interesting to compare and contrast. Because while there's, like, the problem with the Alabasta thing is too much happens in those 10 minutes for it to believably be 10 minutes. The problem here is kind of the exact opposite. Nothing happens in the Luffy part here. Which maybe is just the fact that it's a hiatus, that last chapter promised a climax to this fight. And it'd be one thing if Luffy tried this and it didn't work and the fight continued, but, like, we leave Luffy this week, the same place we left him last week. And it's good that, like, it's not a hiatus next week. That's somewhat of a victory there. It just is a little odd. It's a little frustrating in a way. I don't know. Like, last time I was a little concerned about whether this would feel fittingly climactic. And I'm a little bit more confident about that now. For some reason. I can't quite work out what exactly has changed. Maybe it's the way Orochi's end worked. Something about how Orochi fell gives me confidence that Oda will, like he really stuck the landing with Orochi's death. And I'm hoping he'll equally stick the landing with Kaido's defeat/death. I don't know. So a lot of things just sort of remain to be seen with how Wano is going to wrap up now. I really thought this would be the end of, not of Wano as a whole, because there still is, again, an epilogue, and the Marines are at the door, but the end of 10 years of Kaido being the focus. Kaido was first sort of brought up in 2012, back in Punk Hazard. And we're really reaching the end of that, of 10 long years of Kaido being this either distant or immediate threat. I don't know. For all my weirdnesses around how this fight is ending up, I'm really here for it. It's really good. I can't wait to see how it plays out. It's exciting in a way that, like, I first started reading One Piece around the time Wano started, and I caught up around Onigashima starts. So this is sort of my first time in real time getting to witness the end of an arc, the end of a big bad like this. It's exhilarating. For as much as I'm sort of complaining on the one hand about, like, how little happened here, I'm still, like, on the edge of my seat. It's kind of faint praise. It's kind of a very faint damnation to say too little happened here. I wish there was more content. Until we reach something like Black Butler problems, that's not really a complaint right now. I wish there was more One Piece is not really, a complaint. But yeah, Orochi finally falls, and it feels really, really good. But now, there's just one final threat left. And that's Kaido and moving the island and everything involving that. And I can't wait to see how all that plays out. So with that said, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you'll enjoy the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, do whatever makes you happy, And as always, your life is your own, okay? Bye!